All right, so this is the exclusive Prospera TV Network section of our show, of our podcast,
Doing it raw relationship goals. And we've been
with the
talking
creator
with the
of
creator.
the Prospera
Oh
TV
my gosh.
Network.
I'm like, ah!
I'm glad you said that. No, for real, because that's one of my sayings. I call him the creator because there's only one creator.
Yeah, but he's talking about me being the creator.
That one there. Okay, well, okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, he made us in his image, and if he's a creator,
so
then he made us
there
to
is,
create.
God is my creator. But anyhow, there is one creator.
But she is a God-led woman for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, well, that's what she does, and she feels it, and what makes her so special is because she has the feelings that she has. They are unique within themselves that touch others through her, but not through her, from him through her.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so beautiful.
And if you guys do not know who we're talking to already, they don't need an introduction, but they deserve one. We have Elena Rodriguez and her husband Charles with us. And oh my gosh, we had like the best conversation already. But for this section, I really wanted to touch on something very specific because obviously we already know Elena personally. I mean, like I fangirl over her all the time. Because she's just amazing, like powerful and just incredible. And to me, it's like a lot of women nowadays, they have all these goals they want to achieve. They have, all this success already, and a lot of men tend to be intimidated. And I think you mentioned it on the podcast already, but they tend to be intimidated by women like that. So it kind of shies them away from, being with someone. And I felt like, you know what? I think it's kind of time that Charles starts teaching these men how to do it because a lot of them don't know. Like, this is just the thing that they're like, you know what? Like, she's too much, or she's too successful, or she's too this, and Charles was like, nope. So tell us, Charles, give us the secrets of how did you when you met Elena and you realized that, you know what, she already does so much. She has businesses, like she's a speaker, she's an author, she's everything, and you're coming into her life. How did that feel? How did you feel like, okay, like I can do this?
First of all, let me say, and
Continue, yes.
what other accolades are you going to give her? What others are you going to put up with? Because now it comes back to Anne. It's not going to answer your question because she's a woman. Because she's a woman first. She's a woman first and an entrepreneur second. She's a woman first and a writer second. She's a woman first. So that is the key. You look at the product, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. You look at it's like a ball of clay. What are you going to build out of that ball of clay? Well, if anybody looks back, I talk about Gumby all the time. If you're old enough to know Gumby cartoons from way back, I am because I'm not old. But from a little ball of clay, you can make anything. So I look at it as that little ball of clay is the person itself. So how are you going to take that person within themselves and mold it into something? And how do you do that? You keep working at it. So almost like that person that's a pottery. They got the thing going around, and they got the clay, and then all of a sudden they make one boo-boo, and they go, and they squish it back together. It's back down, and then they start all over again. Well, isn't that what a relationship is? Yeah. So you start with the true foundation is she's a woman. And I'm looking for a woman, or I was looking for a woman. Now, how do we mold that beautiful face together? And that's kind of sort of where we're at. I mean, Elena is an amazing woman. She's a very powerhouse, but it doesn't intimidate me. It brings out the better in me.
It turns you on.
Can I finish, please?
Hey, we do it raw here.
It's raw.
So it is.
It brings out the best in me.
Exactly.
because it allows me to do what I do, and I'm very good at what I do. Because if I wasn't this, she wouldn't have said I do.
He spoils me.
I give her what a man sees. God made man, and then God made woman, and that's just the way it is. That's a fact. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
God made woman to be part of the man's life. Let's get a little religious here. Okay, God did this from man's rib, made a woman. Why? Because ultimately they are connected.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a man and there's a woman. And now, how do you go about with no this, no that, just honest, open-minded, say what you got to say, be who you got to be. No bars. We don't look at, you're not better than me. I'm not. There's nobody better than me. Nobody. However, I don't believe I'm better than anybody else either. We're all created equal. How do we live in a neutral life? Well, now you have a man and you have a woman. So to me, my beautiful, strong-willed wife, there's times like, whatever, she whatever. That's my way of taking a big, oof. So I just look at it that way. I didn't make it to where I have all this wisdom and knowledge. Okay, all this white hair. That's all wisdom and knowledge. Everyone is something that happened in my life that caused it to go white, but that's wisdom and knowledge. And you don't have all of that to just throw it away. You learn from it. You learn from your journey. And so for me to be where I'm at now and to be able to have Elena in my life, and now even more so as Mrs. Prinzen, and I know that she is Elena Rodriguez, and I respect that. See, that's another thing that I deal with. But that's who she is. That's the business part. That's the business part of it. She has a title, and she has to remain. It's almost like when she went to Hawaii. I'm Chuck to my family. To anybody else, I'm Chuck. She chose to call me Charles. So when she was going to go to Hawaii, I wanted to change her. You need to change, okay? You come be around my family, you need to call me Chuck. And I had to think about that for a second. I had to be humble and think about it. And I came back and I said, you know what? If you want to call me Charles, if that's the name that you have for me, and I am going to be your future husband, if you call me who you want to call me.
Well, yeah, because you were Charles Prinzen on Facebook.
Right, so I'm Charles. I really don't care for Charles. Charles is a business name. But
and I don't care for Chuck. I will never call you Chuck.
So there's that compromise where we work with each other, right? But that's my beautiful wife, and that's where she's at, and I know that. But she also knows that I humbly am not going to argue about it because that's who I am to her.
That's one of the things, like the pick your battles kind of thing. When we met and then the relationship progressed and then we knew we were getting married, a big part for me was I will take your name because, again, I'm a woman and I do believe like you get married and you take your husband's name. So legally, I am a Prinzen, but I needed him to know I have worked years and I have worked really hard to establish myself as Elena Rodriguez. Everything I've built is Elena Rodriguez. That's who I was born. That's what it is. And I didn't want to change that. And so you look at my driver's license. Yes, I'm Elena Prinzen. But you look at my books, you look at my work, you look at my enterprise, you look at all the things. And that was really big to me, that I had to dig into a place to find myself again and heal myself again and build myself. And it was through that, remembering who I was, Elena Rodriguez, that I was able to build all of this, Besitos Beauty, all the things. And I thought, if you can respect that, and you can respect that will not change, although as your wife, I take your name. If you can respect that, great. I think if he would have not, and we would have had a battle, I don't even know if I would have been able to like actually get married, like because it was that important to me. Mm-hmm. But you pick what's important and what matters most. You know what I'm saying? You
compromise.
Yeah, but that was really big.
It wasn't a big thing to me. She knows who she is. I know who she is. Okay, names don't really mean too much. That's why it didn't bother me. But everybody knows that she's my wife, and she's a queen. But Prinz in Austria is Prince, so
Nice.
she actually is a princess for real.
There you go. There you go. I love that. There's so many things that from what you all were talking about that came to my head. I'm like, oh, this, it. When it comes to the name, this is something that currently with couples, and I think it also affects couples who are, I guess, veterinized to a certain extent as well. The name calling, because I don't know if you know or if you've been around millennial couples, they call themselves dude. They call themselves the B word. They call each other bitch in a friendly manner.
Yeah.
And we're like, why are you calling your spouse dude? And we talked about it in a past episode where if you're gonna kind of speak to your spouse the same way that you talk to your friends, then they're just friends that you sleep with and probably create a life with, and so on and so forth. And that's not going to be healthy long term. That's not going to help long term. And you have to put your spouse on a pedestal and treat them as such and make them feel that pedestal to a certain extent. Like I look at my wife, she's my queen. I never call her by her name. I call her babe, because I don't know why, but we just stuck with that. Call her babe, and she calls me babe because when she calls my name, I'm like, what's wrong? Why are you mad at me?
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where even the kids, like as they're little, and then they just hear, then they start calling him babe, like babe, like instead of calling him daddy. And I'm like, hey, no, that's your daddy. It's my babe.
That's true, because for me, growing up, I grew up with a very, very abusive stepdad. Very abusive, both to me and my mother. And whenever I was going to get in trouble a lot, I would hear Charles Gary, not Chucky, not Chuck, Charles Gary. That meant trouble. That meant a beating. And so that's kind of sort of in my heart, where I kind of sort of don't really care for the name, because it flashes back into Charles Gary. But that was just a moment in time. That was a shirt that I wore at the time that was dirty. I needed to put a clean one on. And you just look at it, names are names. Where you are in your relationship with your partner. I don't use the B word. I don't say anything like that,
Yeah, there were a couple. These are like when you're that many thousands of miles away, all you have is conversation. So there were many things, and I think it kind of impressed him in the sense that I knew exactly what like the non-negotiables were. As far as for me, they were very important to me. Number one, don't ever make me feel this way in front of someone else, or like don't ever do this. Don't ever call me this. Or if you ever say this, that's going to trigger me. Like I knew exactly what to share that was important to me, instead of just like letting it go with the flow and then causing a fight later. Set your partner up for success. Don't wait for something to happen and then like be mad at them and yell at them. If there's things that upset you or that make you feel a certain way, share those up front so they have the option and opportunity to not do that, And so those kinds of name calling and that kind of stuff, I don't bring that around, because to me, it's not cute, and you just never know in the context that it can be delivered. Is it a joke this time, or is it serious this time? And why even go there? The names, like, that's not good.
Yeah. So as we move forward, ask us anything.
Yeah.
Hey, Prospera TV, man. I mean, it's happening, and it's growing and growing and growing. So we want to make it worth the viewer's while, because I'm also a member of that family. Game Changers will be coming out soon. I don't have a date set, but I'm working on it behind the scenes. And so we're all part of Prospera. We want to build it, and that was Elena's vision, and we're all honored to be part of it. So whatever questions you have, ask away, man. Raw and real.
Of course. one thing, another thing that all couples across the board kind of deal with, specifically couples that are either looking to get into a relationship, and there's this whole dynamic of, well, if I'm going to be in a relationship with you, you need to have 6 figures in the bank account, you have to be 6 feet, and you have to have six pack abs. And alternatively, if you connect those numbers, it's the name of the beast. And they're like, those girls don't even know what they're talking about. They're looking for the
Mhm.
devil, the little devil. Um, but they want all these criteria to be met, right? And it's one of those things where when it comes to relationships, it's hard to deal in absolutes, meaning you have to be this way or it's not going to work, or you can never do this, or you have to always do this, or it will just never work. You need to allow room for both of you to grow, for you to fail, and not cause that failure to break each other apart unless it's a big, gigantic boundary, like infidelity and so on and so forth. But you need to allow room to grow. And I think as independent women, like yourself, Elena, and my wife, specifically in our terms, she was so independent. She was like, "I'm not gonna. You're either accept me for who I am, or it's not gonna happen."
Yeah.
Which meant like, where do I fit in as a man? Where do I fit in? How can I lead you in that front? And I think that's something that you both can speak about, because specifically now, women are strong. Statistically, they're the ones getting the degrees, they're the ones earning the income, so on and so forth. So, and men are like, well, like she mentioned, did you mention this in the podcast or in the intro, or
What part?
about men being intimidated?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna touch her because then she's all up in her britches and thinks she's all that, so I'm not even gonna attempt anything. But here we are, Charles and I, being part of a relationship with strong women. So if you and Elena can speak on that as to like, hey, how did you allow room?
I mean, Elena, tell us, please.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a difference between a strong woman who can handle a million things and a strong woman who doesn't want to have to handle a million things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being strong and smart and successful and juggling, mom, work, business, health, rest, like there's so many, home, all kinds of things, but we have to keep in mind that a lot of times we've been placed in that survival mode, and survival mode kicks in masculine energy, period. Survival mode, like the men are supposed to be those warriors that are supposed to go hunt, that are supposed to bring this home. Like, so that's nature. Like that's the mode you have to be in to survive and keep your family safe and alive. So as women, if we've been put in that position, that's the space we're living. But it's not natural. We're not meant to be masculine. We are feminine, and in our feminine energy is when we are our best. It's when we are our most powerful, but yet when we've had to be strong and we've had to figure it out and we've had to be mom and dad and this and that, we've learned, we've adapted. It's society, it's where we've had to go. So I think as a truly strong woman, we realize that we can do it all, but we don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's why I prayed for a stronger man. I didn't pray for a strong man. I prayed for a stronger man, because I'm not here to weaken myself. I'm not here to shrink myself. I'm not here to put myself in a cage. I needed a stronger man who could allow me to put that masculine energy down, who could allow me to feel like, you've been surviving for so long, you don't have to just survive anymore. But as that woman, you have to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the moment you put your guard down, that's like somebody that could come in and like steal your whole, your family, your home, and all of that. So to me, I think there's a fine line between understanding that being strong, sure you can, but you don't want to all the time. And by putting that sword down, by putting that defensive mechanism down, by putting all of that down, it doesn't make you weak. If anything, it lets you tap into the true essence of who you are, and that makes you better.
Yeah.
100%.
But you have to find the right person to make you feel safe to do that.
One of Elena's hardest obstacles to overcome in our early relationship and moving forward, not so much now because the dam is broke and the water is flowing, was the fact that I wanted, when I met her, I'm retired, okay? I'm 100% retired. I got Social Security, this, and I wanted to impress her. And I work on the side. I do a lot of umpiring stuff, so I do pretty well. And I would talk to her about, how well I was doing. I was trying to impress. Back to a male and what they expect and what females expect. We actually got into some serious conversations about how me talking about money turned her off. I mean, it turned her off, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just being me, okay, and not trying to over impress. I was just letting her know that I'm self-sufficient. Okay, I do this, I do this, I do this, and but it was kind of sort of, that wasn't what she was looking for. Like she said, she was looking for a man, right? And it was very difficult because I wasn't, and I didn't know that I didn't really feel until later on that was more of a negative in our relationship than it was a positive. Of me keep bringing it up about how we're going to be okay. I'm doing this. I'm working these many hours. I'm doing these many games. I'm making this weekend. I was just trying to let her know that it was going to be okay. However, that's not what she was looking for. She wasn't looking for a man to come in that had money. She was looking for something totally different, and that was a partner, a companion, somebody that would fit in her life and make her happy. Well, I think I've fulfilled that. But one of the biggest things that she had to overcome, and I'm getting back to that because I probably lost you. One of the biggest things that I had to help her with, and I know she's going to agree with this, is Elena had a lot of defensive mechanisms, a lot of defensive walls that she had formed around her, and I knew of them. I knew of them because I was a very defensive person. My father once told me, you're very defensive. The very first thing out of my mouth was, no, I'm not. Because I was, because of how I was raised or how I was treated or the environment that I lived in caused me to be defensive. And I felt that in her. So one of the things, not a whole lot of things, but one of the main things was working on me, not talking so much about money, but I wasn't trying to brag. I was just trying to say, I'm a provider. I'm going to be okay. I'm your protector. And she knew that in the very beginning. And I'm going to say this, and a funny thing is the fact that something happened where she got sick one time, and I'm so far away, I paid her doctor, and I gift her, GIF, one of those gifts. I gift her a bowl of menudo soup when she was not feeling well, and had the steam coming up, all of that.
I was like, what does he know about menudo? Who is this guy?
Right? So 5,767 miles away.
That was very early on when I was just like, who is this guy? What the hell does he know about menudo?
I was smooshing. But
there you go.
But we learned. So to hopefully kind of sort of answer your questions on her side and my side is that
what was the question?
Well, about
you being
strong and money and being influential and all these things. It doesn't have to be that way, because she wasn't looking for a man with money. She was looking for a man, and I was looking to protect. And because I am a very protective person to my loved ones. I'm a Sagittarius.
That's a thing.
I'm a Sagittarius.
That was like, when you've been independent and you've had to figure it out, it's like, back off a little bit. Like, don't smother me. I can't freaking breathe. Like, so to be honest, like, if he'd have lived here when we first met, it wouldn't have worked out. I would have felt smothered. He would have probably wanted to be over all the time or wanted to know what was going. Like, it wouldn't have worked out. And we actually talked about that. I think God knew that I needed to adapt into this whole concept of relationship again, but it couldn't be anybody here. Like, I was so content with having long distance relationship because I needed my space. I needed to feel safe. I needed it to move at my pace, so to speak. And so that was part of the defense wall having to come down. So that's where it's like, God will place what you need. Because had he been here in person, and it would have been somebody that was like, what are we doing this weekend? What are we doing this weekend? I'd have been like, I'm working and I love my work and my work comes first. That's where I was at the time. So for me, I think to just go back to that strength and that intimidation, or however a man might feel, I think the best thing as women that we can give our men, it's confidence and clarity in who we are. Don't leave them up to the guessing game on what we need, on what we want. Like, the more you know it about yourself, it can be delivered with clarity, and then the softness and sensitivity can come out because everybody knows where everybody's at, where everybody stands, and there's no trying to like play that guessing game. And I think as women, we could do a better job at getting really clear and vocalizing, what do I need? Because that positions the man for success, to be able to deliver that, and then it's a win-win for both.
And my comeback every single time was, you have to excuse the protector in me. Okay? I'm a grandfather. I'm a great grandfather. I'm a father. Okay, I protect. It's.
And I come from like, I got it. Fucking figure it. Like, oh, sorry.
You're
fine. That's Prospera. It's okay.
Yeah. It was gonna go to the front.
She allows it.
She'll get the memo.
But yeah, it was like, sometimes you just got to be like, I got it. But to realize, like, you don't always have to got it. And now I realize the longer we've been together, the more I'm like, what do I do? I don't got it. Like, in my personal life, I'm like, I really have been a hot mess. But I didn't realize it.
But she has learned how to lower her defensive mechanism.
Yeah.
In the past, my go-to was like, then I'm fucking out of here. Then I'm out. You don't like it? I'm out. And that never even came up with us. That was never an option. That's how I knew, like, wow, I kind of ended this guy.
It's the age thing.
It's amazing. That was so good, you guys. That was so good. Because it's crazy. I like, God is all over this, because every question that I had, you guys just automatically answered everything. And I was like, this is perfect. I didn't even have to ask that much, because that's the things that I wanted to hear. Just because I know how many couples struggle with all of this. And you guys did an amazing job. We are so grateful that you guys, took the time and just poured into our audience. And this is going to be incredible. Just let everybody else know where they can find you, everything you have going on. Show us the book, Charles, one more time. Tell us all about it.
Show it off.
Yeah. So for the book, for all of it, Moises is in there too. Just go to showyourcrown.com It's easy to like find it there.
There you go.
Showyourcrown.com. But
Divine
for
intervention.
anybody watching on Prospera, we have Prospera TV Network.com as well, that has like links to all the shows and contact the show hosts and things like that. So, and you can find me there.
And then for me, I am actually the CEO and founder of Follow Your Dreams Athletics. That's where Game Changers is coming in, because I've been involved in sports my entire life, and sports has treated me well. Even now, I'm umpiring and officiating high school basketball and football and baseball and other good stuff. I stay active. But if you want to know more about me and how I help our youth, I work a lot with at-risk youth because I am a survivor of that environment. You can go to www.followyourdreamsathletics.com/Coach Chuck. And Elena was nice enough to put a beautiful website together for me where it has some things about what I do and how to get a hold of me. So again, I don't know how we could put that up, or we could put that in comments or whatever, but www.followyourdreamsathletics.com/Coach Chuck.
Beautiful.
On
Awesome.
LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yeah.
As Charles.
I let him use Coach Chuck.
No, she didn't. That's who I am. Like, she's Elena Rodriguez. I am Coach Chuck, your locker room coach in this game of life.
There you go.
From all this wisdom and knowledge, I've been on a lot of playing fields in my life. Thank you so much for having us on. It's been a real pleasure. First of all, meeting you, and I know I'm going to be meeting you soon personally. And let's just keep the love going. You know, it's all about love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of, even now in what's going on in this world. We need to spread a lot more aloha. We need to spread a lot more love than negativity. And you two definitely allowed us to spread that today, and we're grateful.
Well, we're grateful that you were open to and willing to share that love with us and with the audience. So thank you again for your time. This has been a great episode. I learned a lot on my part.
I have to rewatch everything. Oh.
Perfect.
So as we say on the island, here we go. You ready? Ahui ho.
Ahui ho.
Ahui ho.
Kako.
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 Ahui ho kako.
Ahui ho kako.
Wow.
Until we meet again.
Until
There
we
you
meet
go.
again. Ahui ho kako. Oh,
Perfect.
that's awesome. I love it, Charles. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Yes, we will. See you next time.
Good.
This is your Prospera era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.